The concept of the 0 point is where the energy ceases in vibration, not because of the loss of energy, but because the energy has reached a state of absolute acceleration, a frequency where the ability to see between the gaps disappears and there is only oneness within the stream. All is oneness because the polarity has disappeared due to the speed of change and the instant manifestation of thought. All positions, roles, frequencies are being harmonized and made into one absolute continuum where there is no difference between one side or the other. There is oneness due to the acceleration of consciousness where all barriers are removed through the power of the mind to reach past the barriers and understand meaning. The transformation is the collective intelligence of all who engage in the process of conscious spiritual evolution. In these words are the codes of development, and as your breath is strong and sure, with deep in-breath and full out-breath, you are rewarded with additional energy. As your body takes more water in pure form, the magnetic fields grow stronger and more resilient and able to extend deeper and farther into the stream. When you are aware of the breath and have the resonant chambers of your body filled with the pure medium of water, then the heartbeat begins to entrain naturally with the beat of the earth and the sun. The deep, steady rhythm is starting a process of entrainment which is triggering the secondary systems like switches to allow your heart and mind to come into full agreement and connect, which builds upon the magnetic field and promotes further expansion into the next level. The second level of this transition is feeling the cerebellum receive the energy from below and pull from above in a push-pull powerful opening of the doorway to involuntary divine consciousness or divine power. The power of the will resides at the top of the spine, and this pool of energy will empower through magnetic overdrive the boost to reach the solar energy of the grand central sun through our sun's alignment in the solar system by 2012. The next trigger point after the lymph is cleared and the immune system, which is the outer shell of the aura, is vibrating in harmony with the beat and the breath of the entrainment, continues up the spine towards the thalamus and the central cortex or sensory cortex. At this level, previously were bass tones of the deepest instincts of the lower involuntary brain, the cerebellum or the mini-brain. The sensory cortex runs at a medium speed of evolutionary development and activates the corpus callosum that acts like the membrane of a drum above the brainstem. The thalamus, located below and between the two hemispheres of the cerebrum, is activated by the reverberation between the two electromagnetic rotating turbines within the upper brain and creates a charged system. This accelerates the frequency charge in the central spinal fluid in the lateral ventricles and focuses the energy into the third ventricle, or the central ventricle, that activates the higher emotional energy waves corresponding to resonant field generation. This energy gives the recipient the ability to move in quantum space telepathically, teleport, use telekinesis, and find the higher level clairvoyant abilities by energizing the emotional dream astral light body. The next trigger enlightens the invisible mental spiritual body with electromagnetic ultraviolet frequencies. The expansion of energy works throughout the whole upper brain in quantum energy fields. This is the level that allows for the void points of the spaces between the synapses that transmit energy to activate and become a fully sentient awakened being. This is the divine marriage of the masculine light structure and the feminine love energy to create the angelic spirit body that operates on the fifth dimensional template of existence.
Okay, hi everyone. This is Ben speaking, and this is the whole healing page in consciousazine. Now, very recently, it's the 17th of the 12th, 2016. Very recently, I had a vision, or not really a vision. Let's call it the implanting of a search query, because that's what it was. So what happened was that randomly, there was no connection before this. It came very randomly, and I just thought, let's type, or let's Google, I said this to myself, let's Google cingulate gyrus and coffee, for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And this is why this is stunning, because this just came to me through the same voice as usual, the Andromedan guide of mine. And whenever this happens, it's, you know, a sage visionary event, and it's usually ahead of science. I dare say every time it's ahead of science when something like this happens to a sage visionary like myself. So here's a great little picture just before we move into what I actually found and what came through me the other day, because this shows you that what is in usual coffees, not all, but what might be in your coffee, especially low quality coffees. Obviously, this is a trademark coffee picture by David Wolf and the Longevity Warehouse Association. And it's called Longevity Coffee. It's actually alkaline. Oh my god, when I saw it, I went, oh wow. It's like a herbal coffee, and it's actually got coffee beans in it, and it's alkaline. You know, most coffees are highly acidic. You have to balance a coffee out with like 8 pH 8 or 9 glasses of water. So it's highly acidic, usually, coffee, and they've made somehow an alkaline coffee. So well done, guys. And that's their trademark coffee. But it shows you what's in some coffees. It's because this coffee says none of this, no that, no that. So you can read that. Let's quickly screen it in. Control plus to make the picture bigger so you guys can view that. No aflatoxins, no vomit toxins, no T2 toxins, no ochratoxins, no rubratoxins, no citronins, no patulins, no zearalenins, no zearalenols, no skerpines, no diazoxyskerpinols, no fuminicins. Now, what happened to me? Because I'm dirigible, capable of being magnetically steered and guided, and I get visions, and I also get these random search query things where sometimes I just go, oh, let's Google this. I say that to myself, I'll Google this now. And you can see by the way I'm saying let's, it's a sort of schizophrenic higher lower notion. Anyway, the universe is bipolar, if you didn't notice, not monopolar. Moving on. So this post came as vision. And so this is just how I wrote it. You have cingulate gyrus problems from overuse of coffee. Very important to note overuse. What do I consider overuse? Well, I don't know, and this isn't all perfectly dialed in. But if you're having it every day, multiple cups of coffee, that's overuse. And I've been shown, way before this post, in previous years, as I'm a healer, the universe has shown me, let's call it worst case scenarios. There was some older women's that I've been shown. I have friends, and one of them I actually lived with for a while, and her son. And, you know, I've been shown the worst case scenarios, how it ends up around 50 and 60. And trust me, you don't want to get to there. They have core shakes, they're neurotic, and this, what I'm about to tell you, I'm sure this is happening as well. We'll go through this now. To these people, I'm sure this is happening to them. You have cingulate gyrus problems from overuse of coffee. The cingulate cortex, a part of the limbic cortex. Now the limbic system's the middle brain, very mammalian brain, and it's not yet the higher brain, the outside of the brain, and it's not the reptilian complex brain, which is that brain stem sort of area. So we're talking about the middle brain. And you have seen previous pictures in this when I just put those pictures up back there in this video that you're watching, Amalgaman Maximum Novelty Health 7. So you know where the cingulate gyrus is. If you don't, rewind the video. The cingulate cortex includes the entire cingulate gyrus, which lies immediately above the corpus callosum, and the continuation of this is the cingulate sulcus. The cingulate cortex is usually considered part of the limbic lobe. It receives inputs from the thalamus and neocortex. Remember, the neocortex is neo or new brain at the front, and it's like the higher, sort of most recently produced brain. Some people would correlate it, there's an egoic center there, if you look into neuroscience, to self-identity and stuff. And that's actually where psilocybin cubensis and DMT can interact with to reduce ego, believe it or not. Yup. So when you take those psychedelic plant hallucinogens, psilocybin cubensis, magic mushroom, and the DMT, say ayahuasca ceremony, you're actually affecting the neocortex in a positive way, because I think it's very positive to reduce the monkey brain self-identity neocortex section, which I've forgotten the exact name of the exact section, and projects the cingulate gyrus, back to that, and projects to the entorhinal cortex via the cingulum. It is an integral part of the limbic system, which is involved with emotion formation and processing, learning and memory. The combination of these three functions makes the cingulate gyrus highly influential in linking behavioral outcomes to motivation. Certain action induced a positive emotional response which results in learning. This role makes the cingulate cortex highly important in disorders such as depression and schizophrenia. It also plays a role in executive function and respiratory control. Now, I notice a lot of core shakes in these older coffee drinkers, which you can mitigate with mucuna puriens, because it has L-dopa, the precursor of dopamine, and that helps stop core shakes as well. Commonly associated with cognitive flexibility, stimulation studies have found this structure to be responsible for emotional sensations such as fear, anxiety or pleasure, and the associated physical responses to these emotions. The cingulate gyrus, this part of the brain's primary function is in facilitating cognitive adaptability in humans. The gyrus helps people to be flexible in learning and processing new situations. Signals from this structure help people to understand how to alter behavior in a variety of situations or among different social milieux. For example, people tend to behave differently when demonstrating their professionalism at job interviews than they do as spectators at a hockey game. Adaptability, as influenced by this part of the brain, is an invaluable tool for successfully navigating an unpredictable social world. A properly functioning cingulate gyrus helps people to recognize their alternatives, such as selecting a menu item from a wide range of choices or determining the pros and cons of taking on a new job. This promotes lifelong learning and helps a person to grow throughout life. Cingulate gyrus dysfunction is not a medical diagnosis but presents itself in other recognized disorders. This part of the brain deals with thought patterns, so cognitive issues such as obsessive-compulsive disorder, eating disorders, and addictions are linked to this neurological component. These diagnoses share a common stuck quality that is indicative of overactivity in this brain structure. Let's call that overactivity a schism from coffee. Do you see the connection now? Well, sorry about that. So this section and the above, that Wikipedia section up there that I just read out, they came after I googled, remember, and had the original idea to Google cingulate gyrus and coffee. So this was a visionary event, and there may not be any studies or anything out there to back up what I'm saying in peer-reviewed articles, because I'm a head of science, because I'm a sage. That's how reality works. Phase state changes and grandiose reality alterations come through singularities and individuals. Group decisions come later. Anyway, so everyone talks about the pineal gland and fluoride in the water, which is great. Raise awareness, continue to do so. However, nobody is mentioning the septum pellucidum. And we also saw that back in the video I showed you before, those pictures, which acts as a projector and acceptor interpreter for the pineal scintillations and vibrations. Then on top of this central limbic structure of the crystal rune, which is the Eye of Horus diagram hieroglyph, sits the integrator functioner, which is the cingulate gyrus. In essence, by overconsumption of coffee, parasitical viral action, and the schism shakes, malfunctioning of the cingulate gyrus creates a cognitive dissonance zone as well. So look into what cognitive dissonance is. Can't accept new information so well. The stuffing of this apparatus with coffee vibration continually creates the malfunction and unable to integrate your own star codes whether or not your pineal is still functional. So you might have I think I say this down here. Let's keep going. To conclude, if your septum pellucidum is dissonant, which is under the cingulate gyrus and happens before the cingulate gyrus, so I'm just working you through the whole procedure. If your septum pellucidum is dissonant, your pineal actions do not project properly. You don't get to sort of see it. You don't have vision. This is why you do not have vision, even without detoxing and worrying about your pineal for the last 50 years. And I was talking about those older women and older men. As you drank coffee, now coffee is not so much affecting septum pellucidum, it is affecting the cingulate gyrus, I have a feeling, from integrating the cosmic frequencies into the higher brain, or grey matter, and the neocortex. To conclude, and just the cortex, the grey matter. To conclude, septum pellucidum is thrown out of whack by dissonance frequencies, the main perpetrators being listening to others instead of yourself inside spiritually vertically. You have listened too much horizontally to others. Matter is horizontal, spirit is vertical. The definition of spirituality is being vertical in your own light column. This has created dissonance and static. The septum is cleared like you clear a tank with fresh water, which had dirty water. So what I'm saying is, with these vibrations of confusion in your septum pellucidum, you create a sort of muddy water instead of it being a clear projector. Okay, I hope the analogy is not lost on you. The overconsumption of coffee inhibits the cingulate gyrus function. This, even if a clear septum pellucidum, the gyrus cannot integrate the information into new function to the higher brain. And you get all the above problems that was mentioned in the Wikipedia, the article, the excerpt I read from the article up the top there, just under the Wikipedia, when we were talking about the functions of the cingulate gyrus. The cingulate gyrus cannot integrate the new information into new function to the higher brain. So to extrapolate the conclusion, you can have clear pineal and septum and have a million visions, yet if gyrus funked up, you won't integrate those into the higher functionality of the brain, and hence losing magnus opus, or great work ability, or your purpose, your vision of your purpose, and your vectorization existence hence, and becomes sort of a dead body more and ephemeralized into ego, and less of a hyperspatial line, as I call it. And the earth will eventually sort of give up on you, so to speak, and realize what's occurring and give less energy to you. So this has dire consequences. So you can read that there, but I'd like to go past all that, a little bit of stuff, a little bit of my own personal rhetoric there. Yes, someone commented how good coffee is. I'm well aware of people who live longer with coffee because the antioxidants and all this, the antioxidation effect. So I just put that there to show that I'm aware of that. Remember what was said, overuse. And hey, go ahead, do your own thing, do whatever you want. This came through me through vision, so I think it's very important whenever these visionary sort of events or a query like this comes. Anyway, so here's some pictures by, who is it? Dr. Amen, I think it was. Pretty sure it's Dr. Amen. Yeah, Dr. Amen's. He doesn't even recommend drinking tea, apparently. So, this is a normal brain. The next one is brain after cannabis destruction. I used to smoke cannabis, but I've stopped, and, you know, I'll have one now and then in the future, I'm sure, a joint. But I'll mainly be on the tinctures, and, you know, that's very symbiotic to your human body's endocannabinoid system. Notice there's no endoturmeric system, even though there's turmeric A, B, and C compounds. You even have CBD1, the main compound, or one of the main compounds in cannabis, in your breast milk, feeding it to your kids. So I'd like everyone to be aware to stop calling people out and like they're some kind of drug addict for using cannabis, because hey, I'm just showing you how you're a drug addict for using too much coffee. So have a little less audacity, hey? So there's alcohol, and here's caffeine and nicotine, because mostly, and from what I saw too, in the worst cases, they did always smoke nicotine with caffeine. Not always, but the ones I was shown did always. These older ladies I've been shown in my life along my path. So there's caffeine and nicotine. Notice the destruction's worse than the other ones and way worse than the cannabis, mind you. Cigarettes and caffeine, way worse than the cannabis. So stuff you for calling us the drug addicts for liking cannabis, which is symbiotic to our human body's endocannabinoid system. So I hope I've shown you something new on coffee overconsumption. Now, clearly, I did not show any direct correlations, no exact brain pathways and so on, and I'm well aware of that. And remember, this was first vision, this is first contact with the idea, and like I said, I doubt very much that this is really in the literature, and that's what I'm about to go have a look in the coming months, or if information comes to me, I'll update this post and possibly this video, and I'll put annotations on this video, or I might re-upload it with the extra information if I find exact pathways and so on. However, why do you need the exact pathway when you can already see the damage from coffee and nicotine, I realise, but look how bad it is. And it's not all just from nicotine. So there is something already being shown, and if I find more information I will update the video.
Electron matrix structures crystallize relationships bonded through energy accretion as developing passages through each prominent energetic stream manifests into critical adhesion. It becomes centralized for the application of torque and inertia to initiate and inhibit the electrical discharges activated through biochemical electrical processes. The understanding and influence of the central spinal fluid will become a science within itself. These magnetic, electrical, chemical, molecular fluids present enhanced characteristics, utilized by arrays of dimensional channels and direct tunnels within the blue aqua waters of the mind. The prime special character of the soul's breathing nectar is supersensory infusion with the quantum state particle harmonics by which ultra and cosmic frequencies are heard through telesentient language. Higher frequency rays are expressed through radiant dispositions of consciousness, living involuntarily as the energetic neurons, of which there are 33 plus billion cells operating in direct relationship with synaptic and synaptic relationships or connections with each other. This is the network operational center for all motor, sensory, and involuntary functions. Through the magnetic electrical spiral singularity respiration within the medium of the aqua blue energized fluids, the pulsations rhythmically introduce geometric modeling of nodal distinctions. Energizing higher respiration is the living pink vibrant lifeblood through which the integration of elemental oxygen enhances the vibrant flame of being. This is accomplished without judgment. Judgment brings fear, separation, and stimulates mental centers of the parietal lobes, the amygdala, hippocampus, and the reticular formation dream state response through the pons of the brainstem survival reactions. The effect of fear causes static throughout the limbic system, making it impossible for emotion to integrate with the higher centers of the brain. Fear turns off the reception of the functions on a quantum level, utilizing the ventricles as resonance chambers and increasing the harmonics of the higher light waves. The energy produced by love, compassion, and enjoyment increase the clarity of the waves, whereas the energy of fear, anger, and depression of the lower centers increase static, which interferes with wave clarity. With the completion of the upper
Hi everyone. So I just wanted to quickly go over a product, and it's called Blue Oil, as in the color blue, by Aveda, A-V-E-D-A. Now that's not it. Notice it's not blue. The actual blue oil is blue, and it's pretty much my favorite oil. And I love it because of the roller as well. And that is a main part of why it's my favorite oil, but the constituents were like chamomile and all this stuff, and it was really a good oil. I can't remember the price. Have a look and get it off eBay. There's also a bigger bottle, but I just love this roll-on tip here. It's got a roll-on tip. Now, that's why I love it. You can reuse it. Obviously, you can reuse a normal essential oil bottle too, but it's that roll-on tip. It gets into the joints. You know, you stick it in there. I'll put it on my neck, up in here where we hold a lot of stress. You know, and I'm rolling it like that. I roll it on my head, pings your vibration back up. Yeah, so it's a good way to use essential oils with the rolling tip there. If we can just get that up towards the camera. See, it's just got a little tip that rolls on your skin. So I've just got like, I don't know what I've got in there, like peppermint or something strong. And, you know, you can just obviously fill it up and keep using the bottle, and it's very sturdy, doesn't seem to break very quick, pretty good plastic. And Aveda, the company, is a pretty good oil. So let's just hold up that so you guys can see it. Aveda Blue Oil. Interesting, such is my life. So I haven't checked my locker in, I don't know, 6 months at university, and I find the blue oil and I go, no way, don't tell me it's actually in there still, and it is. So I must have just put this away 6 months ago. I only made that previous part of the video just earlier today, and so this wasn't planned. It's just another little synchronicity, just a tiny synchronicity, just a tiny one. So this one is the actual blue oil, Hooly Bluey. So it's just blue oil by Aveda, and like I showed you earlier, has the thing so you can get right in there. That's why it's so effective. It's better than the dropper. You just drop it on yourself. This you can push in and massage as well. Tops. So the ingredients are quite a few, and they're, I don't know how synthetic. There are a few that might, no, it's castor oil, castor seed oil, phenyltrimethicone, Simodcia chinensis, jojoba oil, seed oil. So it's got castor and jojoba as the carriers, menthol, menthopip or peppermint oil, tricyprylyl citrate, methylpipyl isotriate, bisabolol, chamomile flower oil, tocopherols, nice, tetrahexydrasyl ascorbate, disodimonium chloride, isopropyl alcohol. It's also got guazoline, limonen, and linalool. And linalool, I'm pretty sure is even in your greens like parsley. So yeah, I really like that one. Okay, I thought I'd show you guys how to use this because a lot of people seem to like when I show them like what I do with the product, or like just what I do in general. So that's why I like the roll-on. I can dig it in, put a little bit here on the crown, that's going to ping me up and pull my energy up there. Got a little bit of receding hairline, put it here, stopping things like Demodex. They won't like this stuff. Demodex, those little parasites, they won't like essential oils and alcohols and stuff going on them. And they're part of clogging your pore and receding your hairline, these little parasites, Demodex. So, you know, they won't like stuff like that. I'll put it there. The main part I love about this, digging into the neck, because we hold a lot of stress in our neck. So just any knot you have, also up either side of the spine. So I'm pushing the energy up always. I'm not doing it down. I'm pushing it up. So it's always that action on the neck there. Oh, digging it in, bring it around. And, you know, something I found with the Reiki balm that actually, we'll go into that next. It's going to tangent. You know, I do a lot of computer programming, a lot of Facebooking, a lot of working on the computer. So there, you know, putting it on there, and then, so you notice I've done a circle action in there, and then down like that on the hands. Again, pushing it out like I was pushing it up out the head. Circle, just like massaging it. It's like reflexological. You're doing a lot of actions. Now these, you know, this would contain, because it's got different oils in it, you know, each different essential oil contains like all these big hard word compounds, like sesquiterpenes, thujicins or something, thupicins or something. It's on the top of the all-around health page. Now those thubicins, or whatever they're called, they fight against flus, viruses. So I mean, you're getting all these different actions when you use essential oils. Essential oils. Just like when I say cannabis, endocannabinoid system. Cannabis, endocannabinoid system in your human body. All same thing. You know, essential oils. Essential. So, you know, you've got to get it through your brain barriers. So, you know, there's a lot of different properties of these things going on. I love it on the neck. Oh, we hold a lot of stress in our neck. All the meridians come to the thyroid in the neck. Think about it, all your body's coming up through your neck, all the nerves. So, you know, the neck's always good to treat a lot, especially with stuff like this. You know, remember how many different oils it had, like chamomile, peppermint or whatever, and other things, you know. And each one of those oils contains all these other compounds, like sesquiterpenes, or that other word I was trying to pronounce. All these big hard words which have their own medicinal effects. So it's like a multi-dimensional layered effect just in this little bottle. Amazing. On the feet, I'll do the same action as, you can run it all the way up and down your spine. That'd be great if someone was here and could do that for me. Or I do it sometimes myself. I put it on my lower back if I'm sitting down a lot. Be careful if you put it on your scrotum, because remember, in the microcosmic orbit, and that's why I put it here a lot, because the governor channel connects here to the frontal functional channel. So I like to keep this clear a lot, doing that, and putting oil there sometimes, pressure pointing as well. You know, you start there, go there, 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 and then in there. And you can do that with both hands if you want, and then I'm putting a bit of oil there. But it's always this action at the end to like push out the energy, just like I push the energy up, always up the spine and always out the hands. Round the circles of stuff like my heart and my hands there. On the ribs even. Oh, it's starting to feel good. So also on the bottom of the feet, I'll do that, and then on the top of the feet, it's that motion. Same as the hands. Now I was going to say, if you put it on your scrotum a little bit, sometimes I put it on the side of the scrotum there, and you got to be careful because it burns. Essential oils can burn, so just be very careful. And I'll just do a real quick little stroke. I'm not like dabbing it down there because it'll burn. Not good. So the reason is because when you do the microcosmic orbit, like I was explaining, the governor channel connects to the frontal functional channel. Well, down there, after you get the orbit going, and I have a video on YouTube because Montauk Chia's microcosmic orbit video got taken down because copyright, I think because of his visuals, I'm not sure. But I went, fuck that, this knowledge needs to be up there, you know, so I put my own version on there. And that's the human body's microcosmic orbit in the consciousazine playlist. And, you know, when you're putting it down there, or when you're doing the microcosmic orbit, and why I would sometimes put the oil there just randomly sometimes, you know, just sometimes, not every time, you know, it helps because it releases the energy and heightens the vibration. And when you're doing the microcosmic orbit, you end up pulling, the male pulls the energy out of the penis. Now I'm not talking about jerking off. Literally, you'll feel like stagnant energy there, and you've got to like play with your balls for a bit. It's once the orbit starts going a bit, because it's like, you know, hanging off you, and the woman vagina massages, so it's the same thing. Just on the inside of the leg, thigh there as well, put that, not in the vagina, not on the penis, you know, the oil I'm talking about. So yeah, that's how I'll use this little oil. And you know that Reiki comfrey balm I showed you guys in my nutritional road trip 2015 video, that stuff goes right down to the bone. And so sometimes I've got a new action now. I'll go from here down. Oh, ooh. And I showed you in the microcosmic orbit video that this thing like this, and you gotta, I'd done it quickly then and I didn't do it correctly. Basically you can't let the energy go, you've got to like hold it. You go up there first, and you're trying to like not let the energy escape as you go down, and it'll crack only once, and you can't do it the second time. So that's how you know you've done it properly, if it'll like crack out, like when you're stressed. So you're starting here, it's always starting down there. Also the Biology of Kundalini website, that's a great website where that guy shows you how to do it like this, and shows you the 3 different heart positions. We won't go into that, you'll see me do a lecture on that one day. So it always starts there, I found, and that meditation that guy on that website showed me really helped me figure that out. So you start there, you push it up, and you can't let it escape, and you go down. I just done it too quickly then to show you now. And you'll get a little crack there, or somewhere in your hands, wherever. Hey, maybe you won't get a crack, but yeah, that's like the usual, and it'll only crack once. So that's how I figured out this little channel here. I'm putting oils down that little channel. And by the way, see how you can see my veins? Usually you can see them much more, but that means you have good, like, thin skin and your lymph system's not clogged. So if you can't see your veins and that, and you know, thick skin, it's not just some people have thick skin, like, it's pretty much unanimous in a way that thick skin is a sign of a clogged lymph. So it's just one way to tell if your veins pop out a bit and stuff, kind of at optimal health, and if you can see them. So I just wanted to show you that. And then that comfrey balm, I was saying that's also how I figured out that channel, because I'm putting the comfrey balm on, put on my eyes even a bit, even though your eye pores are smaller and things like some things can clog those pores. I still put it all around because it's just the best energy. This lady's put a Reiki into it, and that's not unreal. It's definitely tangible, because you feel the release of the vibrations as it's healing you, and it goes down to the bone, this comfrey balm. And that's probably my second favourite product in the world after coconut water. If I had to go to a desert island and I had to take two things, it'd be coconut water and probably the comfrey balm, because it is so soothing. I mean, any meditator knows, energy comes first. It's like the precursor to biology. You heal your energy body, so to speak, and it plays through into your biology. Not just via endorphins, but via light refraction indices and all this stuff. It's a total enlightenment, enter of enlightenment, or entering of light. Anyway, and charging up and so on. So that comfrey balm also made me figure that out, because I was putting it on my back, and you feel that all your cells want it. You're like, well, why am I just putting on those spots? I mean, I could probably bathe in this stuff if I had enough of it. I'd quickly dip into it. I'd be pretty happy to do so. Cover my penis and cover my face, and I'd jump in, mate. But, yeah. So the comfrey balm made me figure that channel out too. And that meditation I showed you guys, or that technique, let's just call it energy releasing technique, where you go like this, you can't let it release. You're trying to push the energy out. Ooh. So that's how I use that, and there's a few extra techniques thrown in. Enjoy. That's all I have to say. Yeah, enjoy. Some people might have thought all those big hard words meant it was a synthetic, but it's actually certified organic. I was looking at that myself. I was thinking, well, hold on, I didn't even mention that yesterday. I was rereading all the ingredients, and it does say down there certified organic. So it's a certified organic oil. It's not even a synthetic like I thought it was, because I hate synthetic stuff too. So there you go, certified organic, even the blue oil. Okay, just a quick addendum, double addendum. An addendum means tying the loose ends, by the way. So when I said I sometimes use the oil on my scrotum, I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have said the gooch spot and the edges of the scrotum, like say this is your ball sack here on the edges and then under to the gooch. Now, I don't always directly put it on with the essential oil or with the dropper or that rolling thing. It's usually that I've already got it on my hands like you saw. I might give it a quick rub and then just do a quick like that. A real quick sort of brush over so that a little bit of oil lands there to help that area higher vibrate, because it's at the bottom of the chakra system. That's why, because you saw me put it on my head, so the gooch spot's at the bottom there. So that's why I do that and why we do that.